Costume group questions judging of Carnival Parade, but DFC chairman says there is no issue. After 6 years, the Carnival Princess title has returned to a convent prep student, and a Grand Bay man shot dead after alleged attack on a police officer. I am MarpinNewsJan25th with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up. Welcome back to the Channel 5 News. A 23-year-old Carnival costume group is making a case for the Dominica Festivals Committee to review the judging criteria during Carnival Parade. Carnival Corner does not agree that the Africulture stilt walkers should be included in the Carnival costume band category. Carnival Corner's PRO Emmanuel Loblack told Channel 5 News they have complained to DFC about the matter in the past, but there's been no action in their favor.
We have seen that they have decided to accept steelworkers as a costume band, which we have found doesn't make any sense at all. It's just a group. They have got a theme and it's not original. And they have a lot of children, you know, on stilts. This steelworker, the Boaba, has been around in this country for years. And we have seen it as an exciting group. I have no problem with them. So it's a nice group, but they should not be judged with the costume bands. We have heard that they have been accepted this year again. All right, it's not too late, the DFC, to withdraw.
2010 was the last year Carnival Corner won Costume Band of the Year. Their most recent award for King and Queen of the Band was 5 years ago. Loblack says their objection dates back to 2014. Also,
there was a meeting earlier in December, which I expressed the same feelings to Mr. Piper. All right, what we'll have to do, we'll have to write him to let him understand that and express our feelings. I think it's not fair to the costume bands. But last year, they gave them Band of the Year and King and Queen of the Band. We came, with something very innovative and creative. We had a chariot, you know the amount of work that was put into that? As a judge, that is something new. I mean to say, lo and behold, we were all shocked and dismayed at what happened last year. So we are hoping that sanity can prevail this year.
Channel 5 News asked Chairman of the Dominica Festivals Committee, Colin Piper, about the matter, and this was his response.
What I would suggest is to go back to the criteria upon which they were judged, and to indicate whether there is any issue with that. We don't believe there is. What we have continued to do in the spirit is to, upon every band registering, give them the criteria for registration as well as judging. If they have any issues with the judging criteria, to bring them to our attention. And we have had an opportunity to review those. Where we need to make changes, we suggest changes. Have anybody who has an issue with it, bring it up. We review the judging criteria. If there's merits, we take it to legal counsel. If there's not merits, then the judging criteria remains as is.
Still on the carnival scene, 10-year-old Rain Benjamin has brought the Carnival Princess title to the Convent Preparatory School after 6 years. Benjamin outdid 5 other contestants at Harlem Plaza on Sunday to be crowned the 2016 Carnival Princess. She secured awards for Best in Costume and Best in Party Dress. Here's Rain in costume. The grade 5 student says her parents were her inspiration.
They put all this effort into me and they told me that I was going to win the crown and I had confidence in myself. My advice to them is to go out here and show people what they can do, have confidence in themselves.
First runner-up is Gabrielle Williams of St. Luke's Primary. She was judged Miss Intelligent at the pageant. She also got the Miss Photogenic and People's Choice Awards. Kiana Etienne of Grand Bay Primary, who came out second runner-up, took home the Best Talent Award. The other competitors were Cadella Charles of St. Martin Primary, Kylie Carlson of Caleb Laura Primary, and Danica Bernard of Goodwill Primary. Meantime, Rin's father, Wayne Benjamin, the lead vocalist of the Triple K band, is encouraging fathers to play an active role in their children's life.
She went in the competition, come and say, Daddy, win, lose or draw, it's okay, because it's just one step ahead of my journey. And I look at this little 10-year-old and I was, rather stunned by her words, you know what I mean? And she worked hard, but she knew that she had competition and she had to do her best. Fathers want to pay kind interest into their children. I believe they should, because today it really showed me, it taught me a great lesson today, that being there for your child, be it your son or your daughter, the type of result you're going to end up with, and end up with a win. So it's always good as parents to be there for your children.
Arguably the youngest competitor to make it to the Calypso finals is to battle it out against 9 older Calypsonians for the title of Calypso Monarch 2016. Andrea Louis has more.
Last Saturday, 17-year-old Janae Jackson had been given the judge's nod to move forward to the finals of the Calypso competition after performing her first release Calypso for the season, My Love, My Country. Jackson is also the only female Calypsonian competing for the title.
Well, basically, I feel accomplished. I feel elated. There's mixed feelings. My initial goal was to reach the finals, and here I am. So I guess from now, I just have to take it up a notch and try to do the best that I can within that competition. So preps are a bit hectic, but I'm coping with it and starting back school. But I'm coping and just trying to take everything step by step in moderation, trying to balance everything out.
Janae's second song, titled Gratitude, has already been released to radio stations.
People put out a great first song, and then sometimes their second song is lacking in one area or the next, but I think that my second song is just as strong or even stronger in some people's opinion than my first song. So y'all can expect a strong song, especially lyrically. It gets people to reflect and, just a good performance on a whole. I just want to say thank you, of course, to all my supporters and all those who believed in me, even when I had apprehension and had fear and so forth, because it can be a bit intimidating being the youngest and being the only female, now coming into the finals,
Meantime, a former lead singer of the WCK band who entered the Calypso Arena in 2014 is also going to the finals for the first time. He sang Teach One, Teach All.
But if each one can reach out and teach one, then we can become that beautiful land all of our self-vision. But when none, not willing to help none, only looking for self, none of us are gonna see that promised land. Whoa.
Shadow Flow joins another former lead singer of the Booyah Band and 7-time Calypso Monarch, Denison Dice Joseph, in an attempt to dethrone reigning Calypso King Gregory Caressa Rivera. The other 6 who made it through to the finals are 2-time King, The Observer, Psy, Checker, Buplay, The Web, and The Bob. Those who did not advance past the semi-finals are former Monarch Daddy Chess, Black Diamond and his sister Stingray, Lugas, newcomer Earl White Jr., Charis D, Soulpuss, Jammer B, Superior Picky, who has been on the Calypso scene since the 1960s, Benno, and Checo. The Calypso finals are carded for Saturday, 6th February 2016.
In more news, the sole electricity provider on island continues to increase on its contributions to carnival activities, this year with $60,000. Public Relations Officer of Domlec, Adina Bellot Valentine, told a press conference on Monday to hand over the funds that 9 organizations, in addition to the Dominica Festivals Committee, have benefited from contributions in cash and kind.
The Africulture Stilt Walkers, the Stardom Tent, the Portsmouth Town Council, Thunderbirds Band, St. Mark's New Vision Still Band, the Roseau Valley Enhancements Committee, the Leo Club of Dominica, the Rotaract Club, Dasper Calypso Show, and the Rotary Club Sauce and Punch Party. We are also making available in kind $5,000 worth of electricity to the Dominica Festivals Commission for the use in the stadium throughout the carnival season, and that began on the opening, that was the 16th of January.
Valentine says this year the company chose not to sponsor a queen contestant to be able to support more groups for this year's celebrations. The last time Domlec sponsored a queen contestant was 4 years ago. Meanwhile, the Thunderbirds band celebrates 54 years participating in carnival activities. Representative of the band thanked Domlec for its over 5 years of support and used the opportunity to warn bands to take control of their followers.
We would really like to call on all the bands, particularly the bouillon bands, to control the temperament of their revelers.
Last year, Domlec contributed over $40,000 to Carnival. And Carnival celebrations have been kicked into high gear as 3 communities officially launched their Carnival activities with opening parades over the weekend. The town of Portsmouth, despite an almost 2-hour late start, held its opening parade on Sunday. Coordinator of the Northern Festivals Committee was happy with the turnout of traditional and costume bands on the streets for the parade.
We had a massive crowd down in Portsmouth, and I think it was, at the end, it came out good. Just that the timing just really had us disappointed, and just had the onlookers disappointed because the parade came out a bit late. We had WCK band on the road live. We had groups like the Stills Walkers. We had the Collio flag wavers. We had business houses from Portsmouth. Although we have the constant issue of persons, we were just trying to divulge into the parade and wouldn't let the parade go by. Thanks with the support of the police, it was better managed, this year. And so we had a more productive parade.
Meantime, the community of St. Joseph held its opening parade on Saturday. An organizing committee member says the turnout of bands and onlookers was a vast improvement from last year's parade.
We had NBD flag wavers, there was the Collio flag wavers, Mahu flag wavers with us. We also had the Africulture Tilt Walkers. We had a number of costume bands, the Senseis, we had the Dakis, we had Mahu Lapokavit, St. Joseph Lapokavit. So we had a full packed parade, and we got, a piece of everything. So I have to compare. I think this was one of the best that we had thus far. This was one of the hugest crowds we experienced in St. Joseph, for sure. We had more people than last year, I can attest, and probably the years before that, so it was great.
Grand Bay also officially opened its carnival on Saturday. Maho is set to hold its official opening parade this weekend. You're watching Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for staying with us. 2 women have been charged for importation of firearm and ammunition. National women's footballer Tracy and Etienne of Canefield and Catherine Humphreys of Layu have been charged with importation of 12 rounds of 12-gauge ammunition and possession of ammunition without a valid license. The women pleaded not guilty when they appeared before a Roseau magistrate on Monday. They were granted bail to the tune of $10,000 each. The trial date is on June 16, 2016. If convicted, they face a fine of $15,000 each. According to reports, the ladies were arrested at the Roseau Ferry Terminal on January 22, 2016. Humphreys is represented by attorney Gina Dyer Monroe, and Etienne is represented by attorney Tiani Bianzin. A Grand Bay man has been shot dead after allegedly attacking a police officer in that community. A police corporal is being questioned about Sunday's incident.
Craig Thomas, male adult of Highland in Grand Bay, sustained a gunshot wound to his left upper thigh about 11:15 a.m. on Sunday, the 24th of January 2016. It is alleged that Craig Thomas trespassed on the private property of a serving member of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force who resides at Granby and began damaging a motor vehicle owned by the police officer. The police officer came out of his house armed with his firearm and was attacked by Thomas, who was armed with a knife. Thomas was transported to the Granby Health Center where he was attended to but later succumbed to his injury. One corporal of police is assisting with the investigations, which is being done by a police officer holding the office of Assistant Superintendent.
The killing of a 51-year-old woman in the Calibishi area has shaken youth from Woodford Hill after it was revealed that a young man from Woodford Hill allegedly committed the crime. Lurian Graham Carter has that story.
The youth of Woodford Hill are vowing to take a stand to protect the reputation of the area, while one of their own is facing a murder charge for the death of a Brazilian national who resided here. A Woodford Hill-based group called Ambitious Young Minds staged a march last Thursday in solidarity with the family of Rose Wyatt, the woman who was brutally killed. The theme for the march was "It Takes a Community to Raise a Child." Athenia Benjamin, who spoke on behalf of the group, says too much effort has gone into creating positive exposure about the community.
It's showing solidarity that we care about what happened in our community, that we have a invested, interest in the reputation of our community, and we are willing to make a stand and to tell the world that Woodford Hill will not sit by and allow things like that to go unnoticed, and we are not talking about it. So
Benjamin says the community is concerned of the possible consequences such crimes can have on their tourism sector, and she hopes more activities will be held to steer youth in the right direction.
When things like that happen, the community is affected, negatively, in the sense where you have the victims of the community and even the perpetrator's families are also victims. Then you have, on a wider basis, the Northeast, and then you have the national and the regional effects that happen when something like that occurs in a predominantly tourist area in the Northeast. So we have to work, together to try to bridge, whatever gap there is.
President of the National Youth Council and members of the police force were among those who addressed the activity.
On the agriculture scene, an agriculture expert is helping the country to come up with ways it can properly develop its coconut sector. The International Trade Center and CARDI, with funding from the European Union, have been hosting training workshops here as part of a 4-year project. Dominica is among 8 other countries in the region to participate in the project, which will reveal the needs of the coconut sector across the region.
The platform meets perhaps every month, and they are trying to develop right now what is called a strategic plan for the coconut industry. The elements of what they are doing right now will probably go into the Ministry of Agriculture to find out if the Ministry of Agriculture in these countries have an action plan for the coconut industry. And that is the case in some countries, but not all of the countries. In some countries, coconut is a priority.
The other participating countries are Belize, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Guyana, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. A survey has found the demand for coconut has risen over 800% in the last 5 years. And according to the doctor, this has had a negative effect on the sector.
People are raping the coconut trees to get young coconut to produce water as quickly as possible. And that is what is happening with the coconut industry. If you go by the side of the road, most of the time you find small nuts. You don't find any jelly inside because everybody's trying to get to the market for coconut water. That has an effect on the products made from coconut jelly or coconut meat. That is the endosperm of the nut. That is where you get oil and all kinds of pharmaceutical products, etc., etc. So we have to somehow study what it is that we want to do to develop the coconut industry in these countries.
A more rounded tourism product for Dominica is being seen as a way to further boost the country's economy. More from Andrea Louis.
That's the view of one technical specialist with the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation in Agriculture, ICA. Agritourism, in its most broad definition, involves any agriculturally based activity or operation that brings visitors to a farm or ranch and is being seen as a means of helping income generation in Dominica. ICA has been assisting several small and upcoming groups get more involved in the agricultural business.
ICA has been guilty of working with women groups, youth groups, because we want to empower these groups to be able to sustain themselves. So we have been pushing the concept of family farming, and we're working in terms of building business opportunities, looking at things like agritourism, because that's another area, it's almost like a bastard child. When you speak of agritourism, it doesn't fit neither in the mainstream tourism efforts or in the agricultural effort. However, you get more interest in visiting farms and understanding the traditional way of things, how things are being done. So it's an opportunity in terms of what we're trying to promote.
Copel says Dominicans must be aware of the changing market space which exists within the region and the wider world.
We need to recognize that our domestic market is expanding as well as it is opening. In 2017, in the OECS, there will be free movements of goods. Hopefully that will be happening, the free movements of goods and services. So it means we have greater opportunities within the OECS, but it also means that the OECS has greater opportunities within our markets. So it's important for us to recognize what is happening in the marketplace, like sustainability, innovation and creativity. These things are very important in light of our markets, and therefore our focus is to strengthen competitiveness.
ICA is on the advisory committee of the Dominica State College's newest program, the Agribusiness Entrepreneurship Program, which is expected to run for a year. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Sports is next with Kenny Williams.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Cricket takes the first knock. Darren Bravo's score of 97 runs forced Barbados Pride into second place when defending champions TNT Red Force won the 2016 Nagico Super 50 by 72 runs on Saturday. Red Force first at the crease totaled 270 for 7. Kyle Hope assisted with 34 and Jason Mohammed 31. Riyad Emrit took 3 for 46, Marlon Richards 2 for 38, John Russ Jagisar 2 for 30, and Akil Hossein 2 for 55 for the winning team. With a target of 271 for victory, Barbados replied with 198 all out. Shai Hope top scored with 50, while Carlos Brathwaite added 46. Carlos took the most wickets for Barbados, picking up 2 for 54. Still in cricket, Shivnarayan Chanderpaul has retired from international cricket after playing 164 test matches over more than 2 decades. Chanderpaul, one of West Indies' great, finished as the second highest West Indian test run maker, scoring 86 runs short of Brian Lara's record. Lara got 11,953, while Chanderpaul scored 11,867. Chanderpaul, 41, had not played for the West Indies since May of 2015. The West Indies selectors dropped him after a weak performance during the 3-test series against England. Chanderpaul was also not part of the 15 players handed annual contracts by the WICB in December. In football, league leaders Jubilant Football Club demonstrated their dominance once more with a 2-0 win over Northern Concrete and Steel Bombers as action continued in Premier League football on the weekend. Travis Joseph stealed victory when he scored the 2 goals for his team.
We know it was going to be a tough match, so we had to be united and just work hard and take the game early.
Meantime, Steel Bombers had this to say about their performance.
We put up a good fight, and I'm really happy with the performance from the guys. I'll be disappointed that we did not win, but it was a good fight overall, a good performance.
Meantime, Icons Football Club failed to show up for their match against Signman Middleham United on Saturday, causing Signman to win by default. Then the match between Caribbean Cool Harlem United and Bathurst State Football Club ended prematurely 20 minutes into the second half due to interruptions by water sprinklers. The scores at the time were 4-0 in favor of Harlem. The DFA now awaits the referee's report on that match. And 3 wins were recorded in Division 1 football on Friday. Gerald George has this report.
The Petro-Caribbean Point Michelle defeated ACS Tarish United 3-0 in the first match of a doubleheader at the Pori Plain Field. Danny Williams, Sylvester Peltier and Kieran Lewis scored for Point Michelle. In the second match, RIC Kensborough won by default over Dasper Potters. And at the Benjamin Park, Itassi United defeated Glenville Renegade 6-4. Misha Ofa registered a hat-trick for Itassi, with one each coming from Brian Libler, Vernon Joseph and Malcolm Libler. Usher George, Jason Wilshire and Kurt Hector scored for Renegades, with the other goal coming from a Itasi player. This is Gerald George, PRO, Dominica Football Association.
Moving on to track and field. A 4-year reign has come to an end and a new president has been elected to manage the affairs of the Dominica Amateur Athletics Association. Godwin Dorset won over Cedric Harris 11 votes to 6 at the association's annual general meeting Saturday. Dorset says the win did not come to him as a surprise.
I anticipated that, and the reason why I can say this is because for over the past years, the Athletics Association has been going through a number of turmoil, and a number of things have been coming out in the air, and what is happening is that not too long ago, about less than 2 years ago, there was a move of the vote of no confidence in Mr. Harris' tenure. That in itself shows that the membership was moving away from him because of the things, the way he worked.
However, Harris says he is satisfied with the strides he had made in track and field in his stint as president.
I have no regrets. I did what I had to do during the course of my term. I left after better than I met it, in the sense that we're infrastructure that's concerned. We know I've been fighting for getting that facilities changed, but when it comes to equipment and otherwise, what I met there, I increased. Kids athletics, which is very important, the grassroots concern moving forward. I think I've made that change. I did say in my re-election the last time around that kids athletics is high on the agenda, and make sure that I did all necessary to make sure I put things in place to allow that to go on and improve.
Finally, in sports, All-Rounders fans near the Botanic Gardens gathered to witness the showdown between Dubic Strikers and NTCU Domsetco Stars, where Strikers secured a convincing 301-run win on Sunday. That match wrapped up the National Rounders League for the season.
So the body was a bit tired, 2 years back-to-back, so we decided let's take a rest and then we're coming back for it, and we came back for it, right, Larry? Yeah! Chasing. We love chasing, but they won the toss and they decided to send us in bat, and we decided we set our target at 500 and we get it. We go for it and that's it.
Meantime, captain of the NTCU Domsetco Stars says her team could have done better.
We are kind of broken down, but at the same time, we are grateful that we reached just far in the league, making it for the finals ready. It was really not our best today. I think the team spirit wasn't what we expected, and that members did not try their real best. We were not at our best at all. Like when we lose the first 5 wickets, it really was a setback for the team, knowing that your batsman, the top batsman, always at the front. So it was just a setback. When 5 wickets fell, I think they lost their way around that path. The whole atmosphere changed and members lose hope.
We have reached the end of our sports report. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time.
Let's now see what the weather forecast looks like.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. The Atlantic high pressure system continued to be the dominant feature across the region, with some low-level clouds lingering across the island chain. Here in Dominica, mostly cloudy skies were observed on the eastern coast, with generally fair weather conditions on the western coast. Radar imagery indicated limited shower activity across the island today. For tonight, the weather is expected to be fair at first, becoming increasingly cloudy with a few scattered showers, mainly during the morning period for tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate to rough in open water, with waves now peaking near 10 feet. A small craft warning will be in effect tomorrow for above normal sea swells. For the next 3 days, the Atlantic high pressure system will generate a brisk trade wind flow with occasional cloudy skies and a few scattered showers expected. For the remainder of the Caribbean tomorrow, occasional cloudy skies and a few scattered showers can be expected. On the international cities forecast, some rain expected in New York, London, Caracas, and mostly cloudy skies in Miami, with generally fair skies in Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:46 a.m. and set at 6 p.m. For additional information, feel free to contact us at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. Costume group questions judging of Carnival Parade, but DFC chairman says there is no issue. After 6 years, the Carnival Princess title has returned to a convent prep student, and a Grand Bay man shot dead after alleged attack on a police officer. Email us at news@marpin2k4.com and visit our YouTube channel to catch up with our past newscasts. On behalf of the production team, I'm Idona John Baptist. Join us again tomorrow.